this was something that I was hoping was going to be good. The first trailer looked pretty good, and it looked pretty entertaining on all of those kind of fronts. And then the first episode was just kind of okay, but it wasn't really nothing to it. We were willing to give it a shot. And then like the second episode just like straight up was like, fuck it. And just like yeeted the whole idea of any kind of decency or anything like that. And then of course, from the very first 5 minutes of the episode, just like freaking completely cover you with your hand and slowly come back. Slowly. All right. Now slowly come back. Clip that, guys. There you go. Now just easy lean back. There you go.
No, it's
still not doing it. It's still not doing it. But anyway, so it started out really, the first episode wasn't bad. And then like that second episode, which I will give them points, they didn't like try to frump up their numbers and stuff like that by doing like a 2-episode premiere or even like a 2-episode finale. They didn't try doing that either. So at least they weren't trying to fudge their numbers with like Disney bullshit like that. But man, that second episode just kind of went off the fucking rails, man. Like there was some of the stuff in the first episode, it was fun. But like as soon as Rick Flagg's just like, fuck it, I'm going to go ahead and bang the princess. It's just like, well, I guess just all of that shit was going. And they were just so graphic about it. They were so raunchy about it. They were so like, and it's kind of funny the first time. But then when they go directly into like the next one where we get like the gratuitous fucking sex scene between Frankenstein's bride and the doctor. And it's just. Yeah, and so it's just like, man, like you're just like, this is just like some really bad fanfic, and like you could tell he wrote this in 2 weeks, right? Because that was what he said. This is something he literally slapped together in like 2 weeks, and that's pretty fucking obvious that that's exactly what you did. Because this was not good. It's just hasn't. It's all felt really rushed. I talked about it earlier before the show started. I said that this felt like I was messaging Sunker this morning. We were talking about this, and I said this feels more like an anthology series, than it does anything else. Like this is an anthology series of the origin stories behind all of the Creature Commandos versus being a Creature Commando story. You know, it's like, this is like the I don't know, not the forward, but what do they do it in a book where they tell you a little bit of something beforehand before they jump into like the main story?
Prequel or prelude.
Yeah, prelude. This is like the prelude to like a Creature Commandos movie where you actually see the Creature Commandos come together as a team and do something. You know, is what this feels like, because you're just basically like, they did what they've done with this first season is essentially what Amanda Waller did with everybody in the Black Adam movie in the first 5 minutes. She gave you the entire JSA's backstory, who the new kids were, why they were in their positions, what their quality points were, what their minorities points were, or, you know, what their their negatives were. And then boom, next thing you know, you got fucking Dr. Fate and Hawkman running these new kids out into the field, you know, and going, we got stuff to do. Like this entire thing has been nothing more than backstory after backstory in every single episode.
Like we're seeing a little bit of like how they operate differently, the bride versus Flag, but at the same time, because his motivation is just like, I got my dick wet. It doesn't feel as like compelling. And she's just doing it because it's her job. So this whole kind of like dynamic is utterly falling on its fucking face, and no one cares.
Yeah, and it's just, and it hasn't been. The only backstory that was even slightly enjoyable was Weasel's, and that was the last episode we got to watch together. Like the Weasel backstory of all the ones that we thought were going to be probably the worst, which Sunker totally called that it was going to be the Weasel backstory in that episode before we started. Yeah, it was a total joke.
It's stupid to do it.
Yeah, and they did one, and guess what? It was like the best backstory. Now, given, I believe in this episode, we're going to get into what's his face is what we always call him. Yeah, we're going to get into Blight. I know it's not actually Blight in this show. And if anybody ever actually, if any of these actually turn into a review and anybody actually ever comments on these things, because I leave this portion of it up on YouTube because this is like our review where we actually like talk about what we've watched in the past. So we'll probably have to do like a little final recap of Creature Commandos at the beginning of next week before we jump into something better. But But it'd just be one of those situations where it's like this one's supposed to be the blight one and this one's supposed to be pretty good. And since that's one of the characters we've been excited for, but at the exact same time, it's like Weasel has been the best one out of all of them. The Brides was just fucking disturbing and weird. You know, GI Robot, you could have done that in 5 minutes and you turned it into a 30-minute episode, you know, and we were honestly bored to tears with the GI Robot one.
Like, it was just very predictable, but like,
yeah.
No, then you reminded me, we had a Frankenstein origin where he's just a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And it was out of like the last episode was utter like filth because it was a completely superfluous episode, only done there to be like, Amanda Waller just got tricked, bish, because it's Clayface, and it's just like, okay, so this actually has to pay off, or fuck you. Because I actually don't think you set up any real payoff for this, dumbass.
No, and that's the other thing too. It's like it's one of those other things too. It's like with the Clayface thing too. It was like kind of predictable, and it was cool to see like Clayface and kind of like the monster that Clayface is, kind of like go to town. But it's like at the exact same time, it's just like, okay, well, I guess that's why that first little weird scene in the beginning went off and did what it was going to do. And that's why it's Clayface. And that's why I was like, Thermoscura. It's all a bunch of women, yada, yada, yada. And it's like, okay, well, that's why it was supposed to be Clayface. Because remember, Nick was there for that. Nick was with us on that one. And that's why he was like, it does kind of pay itself off. There's a reason why it's happening. It does kind of make sense towards the end. And I guess it did because of the reveal as Clayface. It's just like, it's just a really bad way to do it. It's just really badly written. It's just the dialogue's really funky and janky. You know, it doesn't even come off as funny, retarded. It just comes off as dumb.
No, it like the level like stupid humor. Like we do stupid humor. We do stupid humor.
Yeah, Phosphorus. Go ahead.
Dr. Phosphorus. No, it's just it's like its humor is so fucking bleached. Like, oh, of course Clayface can't keep it together. All he wants to do is talk about lesbians and play a fucking Xbox. Like, come the fuck on. Like, remember when I said that one fight scene was like, it was like an okay hand job. That fight scene with Clayface could have been good, except it was like, you got an okay hand job, but then like that girl bitched at you the entire fucking night. So even the hand job, you don't even really want it.
It's just like it's the consolation prize, you know, at the end of the night. You're just like, well, it's better than fucking nothing, I guess. You know what I mean? I probably just would have had a better time with myself at the house, but, well, I'm already fucking here. I'm at least half lit, you know, so I guess that kind of makes up for it all. Like, that's been the saving grace during these streams. Most of the time, by the end of the episode, we're feeling halfway decent. So, you know, it's just easier to laugh at it all. But, it's one of them things where it's just like, this is, like I said this earlier, it's obvious this was written in 2 weeks. It's really obvious that it was written in 2 weeks, man.
If you actually chop it up properly, where you just had a whole bunch of anthology stories, and then you did this big overarching story with everyone working together without the cuts, it would actually work a little bit better. But because all these cuts are here, there's a thing with Lost. Whenever Lost did backstories, a lot of the time when they did their flashbacks, it let you know who their character was. It gave you insights that you wouldn't normally get from their day-to-day interactions. We got nothing from all these people except Weasel. And that's the fucking craziest thing.
Yeah, the most unhuman person of all of them is the one we got the most decent backstory out of. And, and that's a really good point, too, about the idea of doing it as an anthology kind of thing. And then because you could do it kind of like a hybrid, right? Where you could do it to where, you could do the anthology series as like the first 3 episodes where you're just having Flag, and then every episode starts with Flag coming to collect another one of the creature commandos out of their cell, right? And so all you see is Flag show up to the door. You do their backstory as an anthology story, right? Kind of by itself. And then right before the end credits is whoever it is coming out of the cell and walking down there, getting their collar or whatever their shot is, and then going with Flag, right? And then like the last 3 episodes could have been everything that's happened with the Themyscira boys and all of that shit in like the last 3 episodes with the Waller stuff and everything else. You maybe could have done 4 episodes if you really had to. And it would have been so much more of a tighter series that would have been, I think, a lot more enjoyable. Now, the writing's still kind of garbage on the backstories either way, but at least the flow, I think, would have been more enjoyable doing something like that, because then you would have actually like seen the team come together and do stuff as a team before. Instead, with this way, they're constantly breaking up the team story to do a backstory. You know, you get 5 minutes of team story in the episode and then 20 minutes of backstory for the rest of it, or 5 and 15, or however the episodes split up. That's just really, really annoying. To me, anyway.
Playing D&D, and you have that one guy who wrote like a 3-page backstory. He's like, "Hold on, I need to tell you about like we're doing a thing right now. No, I want to tell you about how I'm a lost prince of Tinderland."
Yes, yeah, exactly that kind of thing. Exactly that kind of thing. Yeah, so it's been interesting. It's been interesting. We're glad it's gotten to a point where it's over, I think, though. We certainly gave it a try. We gave it a fair shake. We legitimately gave it a fair shake.
I did not. I was just like, fuck this show. Instantly, fuck this show.
Well, you were within like the first episode, but there was still even some moments where you were still like, you were willing to give things points for when things were done fine. And we talked about that before, too, right? Like the intro is a banger. Right. Outside of having James Gunn's little self-insert of him at the computer. It's like the intro really is a banger. The music's pretty fucking good. The animation style, we like the animation style. It's just the story, the pacing, and the dialogue that are, for the most part, crap. Yeah.
Also, to say this one point, and then we can actually get started and say hello to all you.
Yeah, say hello to all the wonderful folks out there in the chat.
The one thing that kills me is you could have built up anticipation, because we already know the story now. We knew the story at episode 1, what was going to happen, and they have no idea how to build up anticipation anymore. If you did an anthology-esque, you could have done a whole bunch of silhouettes of a whole bunch of fucktards, and then each one, you would get a new character, a silhouette would be revealed, and then you would have, like, the end team at the end of it. And you could actually make it a very big mystery of, like, where you could have people go and question, okay, who's going to show up next? Which one's going to be the next one to show up? Which character is going to occur? Mm-hmm. But no, we don't get that, because fuck you.
Yeah. It was too much wanting to have that moment where it's the Guardians of the Galaxy and everybody comes together in the dining hall. I mean, I didn't think about that until just now, though, but it literally is that kind of scene where they literally do that in like the first episode or the second episode, like when they go back and they have to defend Fish Girl. It's kind of like that kind of thing. Remember, because that was a cool scene, and that they were going in there defending her. But
so she's the heart, so she's the one. She's like the heart character is the person who glues it all together. So just like the one everyone likes. So I may not fucking like you, bro, but I like Fish Girl here. So
right, exactly. So all right, well, it's like him, but I want the guy from Batman the Animated Series' voice there, and it's not his voice, and that's what I'm expecting when I see it, and I want it there so bad. And every time he opens his mouth, I'm like, I'm expecting it, and it's not there. But either way, the guy does a great job. No shame on the guy at all. It's just, I got the Blu-ray of the animated series on it. It's like I got all my Justice League stuff over here. They had the same guy from Superman to Batman to Justice League Unlimited. It was always the same voice actors, and it's always like, we had a decade.
It didn't feel like what usually happens, where they just keep hiring the same people. It made sense within the continuity of the whole universe they were trying to do, which was everyone was interacting with everyone else's universe. So of course, it makes sense they would all have the same voice. I will say one thing that good on the animation team. Instantly, when I saw it, I'm like, this is Gotham. And that's kind of the reason why Batman's my favorite. Is one of the main things about him is Gotham and the feel and life of Gotham. It's kind of like Superman and Metropolis, where Metropolis is like this very golden age sort of thing. Gotham is this like terrible, like trying to find decency amongst the corruption and the filth.
Yeah.
So good on them. Instantly, I knew it was Gotham.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, I think just there's almost just like I hate to say it's just a layer, but there's almost just like a filter you have to put over this type of animation style. And it's like, it automatically feels like Gotham. It's like, because it was always that way in animated series and all of that kind of stuff. So I don't know, but yeah.
Well, I think they did. I think they actually did, because I'm like, the animation's different. Like how things are drawn slightly differently. It's going. I don't know much about art styles, even though I pretend to. It feels more noir-esque. This would actually look beautiful in black and white, especially with like the blurred background.
Well, and I think that was one of the things about the Batman the Animated Series that was always an undoubtable fact, is you could have done that entire thing in black and white. And they did certain episodes in black and white with some of the flashbacks and some of the old TV shows and stuff like that. And it all still looked great. You know, they throw a little grainy haze over it just to give it that, you know, old film look.
Old TV style.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and but yeah, no, it was great. It was great. So yeah, I like this. And so I can see, like, just from what we've gotten to so far, I can see why people actually did really enjoy this episode.
You saw how we went fucking quiet. We were enjoying the fucking show. And not having the show be bullshit, and we're like, oh, there's plot, and you're introducing us calmly, and we want to root for this guy because he's trying to escape. We want to go over and be angry at the bad guy because he's being a cunt. Like, yes, just regular comics, yes.
Yay! Miracles do happen.
How very similar to fucking Marvel storytelling, where they take one sort of bad guy and then kill him and replace him with someone else. They took out Mr. Mustachio, which we had some kind of rapport here. Now we have Sergei. No emotional attachment to him.
Oh, yeah, because they got rid of the other head guard. Yeah, that's right. They killed his ass. That's right. Fucking Phosphorus toasted his ass. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, see, there it is. Go ahead.
This is probably the best episode. Here's the funniest thing is...
not a high bar.
This is the first time where I'm like, oh no, it's the main plot. I'm like, can I go back to the origin? I want to go back to Gotham and be with Batman.
Yeah, exactly. We want to go back to Batman. We want to go back to Batman. So yeah, I could definitely see why everybody liked this episode. So, but I like Phosphorus too, so it's kind of fun to see his stuff. So
there is an infamous comic panel where it's Frank Miller, where he was doing Batman, and this is actually Frank Miller, I believe, was the one who had Batman say, "I'm the goddamn Batman." So, what are you, retarded or something?
No.
So there is one kind of infamous panel in one of those the goddamn Batmans where you can read what the creator notes were, and he's like, "No, I want to make these nerds really, really drool. Go over and have a full shot of her ass, to make it really lacy and everything. She's in her panties."
I mean, it's one of them situations where it's like, this isn't really all that much worse than every like Japanese anime out there that has like the bathhouse scene. Like every one of them's got like the bathhouse scene, you know, if not several of them. Yeah, so is this as well. This is I can see that young Knight's character developing right there on his face.
They're well developed.
Dude, I'll tell you what. Shout out to the artists. Shout out to the artists. They know what a woman's figure looks like. They know what a woman. So look, there's still people left in Hollywood that know what a good-looking woman looks like.
This is actually pretty true, because when you're doing body art and stuff, they do bring in nude models, and it's not always the sexy ladies. They bring in like old ass men and shit, and they will just stand there for you to go over and draw them naked, so you can actually understand proportions well.
Yep, there you go. Exactly. And you can tell proportions were very well understood during these scenes. That's why he's asking. He was like, you know, what did they look like? Animal, humanoid, you know, poltergeist, like big green monster. Is that a thing? Yep. With bolts on its head? Yep. You know, it's like, this is a universe where all of these things have, you know, they've been around since World War II, and they've been dealing with crazy monsters and everything else. That is the world that we were supposed to be walking into.
I would actually say that is counterproductive, because if they were around since World War II, then it would be less odd for someone to be like, there's an alien monster thing. I'm like, there's
Well,
aliens.
it's just that
there was an alien invasion.
Well, I don't think we've done an invasion per se yet in this. And what we've seen from the new DC universe so far, but it is a universe where supernatural, extraordinary things have existed. What variety of those and how many different types there are, of course, the average person's not going to know about that. And so that's why he's just like, and she's like, and that's a thing? He's just like, yep. And she's like, oh. So yeah, they know crazy shit exists.
Stuff just doesn't happen in Albuquerque.
Yeah, exactly. That's from Metropolis in Gotham, not Albuquerque. Yeah, I love that. That's great.
I just want to call it out. Fuck you. The dad would have had the bat. The dad would have had the bat. Mom's in back. She's ready to go grab the kid. He's going to go over and fight. She's going to keep the kids safe. Fuck you for giving mom the bat. Dad should have had the fucking bat.
I fucking hate Frankenstein in this show. I fucking hate Frankenstein in this show.
It's not even a fun
really
hate.
do.
Like you can fun hate someone. You're like, I can't wait to just beat you up. And like if Frankenstein got like pulled out of a window, thrown into an abyss, I would be all the way happier for it because he adds nothing but like a weird creep factor, which I 1000% now believe James Gunn is Frankenstein.
Yeah, it's just it's like a weird. It's like a stalker with a homicidal tendencies in the body of a gorilla. You know, it's just like it's just on this just retarded level. Like there is like, how have you been allowed to just roam free for this long without? Yeah, no subtlety. He's just murdering people left and fucking right. It's like, how is Amanda Waller not figured out how to nuke you from fucking space if you're just running around willy-nilly murdering fucking people?
Or put you on a team or something, you stupid fuck.
Right, and it's like, there's no reason for us to think that he hasn't been like this the entire fucking time. And it's like, there's no way he could have gotten away with surviving this long if he's just willy-nilly murdering people left and fucking right. That just would never work.
And it makes me frustrated because the guy we were chatting with the first time, I'm sorry, I don't remember names.
Oh, Nick Weiser?
Nick Weiser.
Yeah.
He would have brought up, like, no, actually Frankenstein was a smart guy, and he was actually diabolical, and yes, he did love her, but he wasn't, like, fucking retarded.
Yeah, he wasn't like a homicidal simp.
And also, you can make a stalker with homicidal tendencies. That was Hannibal.
Yeah.
He's one of the most beloved anti-hero, like villain.
No, he's not he's just he's a villain. He's a villain. Yes. He's got his own moral code, but he is a straight fucking villain. Yeah, no, yes. Hannibal is a villain. But yeah, no, it's like there was another one. I only ever caught a couple episodes with it because it wasn't my kind of thing, but it was like You or something like that, which was this series on Netflix where the guy's like, he's like a crazy, his girlfriend, he's like a crazy psycho boyfriend. Like he kills anybody that he thinks is a threat to his girlfriend. So it's kind of wild.
That sounds like it could be a little bit funny.
Yeah. So I don't know. I know it went on for like 3 seasons. A lot of people really liked it. But yeah. What's up, Jim Bone? Good to see you, buddy. Yeah, lasagna is always the right option. You are so right, Jim Bone. Lasagna is always the right option. Yeah, Hannibal, great villain. Frankensimp, not as much. Yeah, exactly, Kyle Saber. Frankensimp is a very, very accurate description.
Here's the thing. You can kind of go over and see that he was trying to make an articulate character, but because it's James Gunn, he doesn't know how to do that. That's outside of his range.
Outside of his wheelhouse.
He cannot write those kind of characters.
Yeah.
And he should have, like, yes, he wrote it in a week. He should have had someone else write the dialogue.
Right.
Because there's ways you can go over and make this work, but he doesn't know how to do it.
Yeah. Yep. It's very true. Very true. All right. Let's see what we got here. Got another 18 minutes left.
I'm going to be so disappointed. Wait, first, one more little palate cleanser. Look at the picture. Did you look at the picture I sent you?
Oh, no. I will.
Look at it right now.
All right. I will. I'll look at it right now. See what you got here. Dude, that motherfucker that came over on Twitch that's like so obsessed with going, if you only like Batman. He not only did he jump over to YouTube and comment, he jumped over to one of my videos and commented too on the channel.
Yeah.
It was probably. It was probably on the Creature Commandos video too. That's oh my god, that is hilarious. Sunker has sent me a picture of her inside of her bedroom, or inside the room that she's in, all by herself, all by her lonesome, and it is currently nothing but confetti all over her ceiling right now. It is just all that confetti. I'm saving mine, and I only have a little one. I'm saving mine for, which is accurate. I'm saving mine for when it's all over. She decided to premature ejaculate her stuff all over before the episode even started, and it's now all over her ceiling. So we will save this as a palate cleanser, and we will show this off when we get done with this episode. So, but yeah, that is absolutely hilarious. Holy cow.
I only remember because I looked up like, oh, that's gonna suck when that falls down.
It is. Oh, that's gonna be great.
The other reason why I turned off the candle was just like, oh fuck.
Oh yeah, that probably wouldn't be a good idea. That would not be a good idea. Roy Rat, what's up, buddy? A census taker tried to test me once, so I cut out his liver and ate it with some fava beans and a nice Chianti. Yeah.
I love the behind the scenes when he did that scene. That scared the shit out of the lady, and she's just
Jodie Foster? Yeah. Yeah, it absolutely did. I have no doubt about that whatsoever. Yeah, he's motherfucker. By the way, it's Anthony motherfucking Hopkins. Okay, like it's Sir Anthony Hopkins for a reason. Okay, like that man's a legend. Good to see you, Roy Rat. Smash that like button if you haven't already yet, boys and girls. Smash that like button.
Here, real quick, you stupid bitch. Every time they have a fucking madam, that madam is 1,000% exploiting those bitches. Do not act like you are a fucking caretaker, you stupid whore. That shit pisses me off. Like, if you look up documentary and shit of, like, living on $1 a day, we actually had, when my mom was doing stuff on art galleries, they hosted at one of the buildings, and we helped set the stuff up. And it's called Living on $1 a Day, and they did a photo documentary of all this horrific, fucked up shit that people were going through. They were taking pictures of the people and really capturing the emotions those people were going through, all the stuff they were going through. One of them was a whore. I believe it was an Asian esque country, and she was fucking wrecked. And because she had to go over and get ready for work. And it's just, she did not want to be a whore. Right. None of them want to be whores, and it always falls to the madam. A madam is just a pimp. It's a nice word for a pimp. Fuck you.
Yep.
And anyone who would go over and say like, oh well, it's nice. It's like, fuck you. She helps exploit other women.
Mm-hmm. Yep. She's just as bad as the men that do it. Why is this show such shit? James Jen wrote it in 2 weeks.
This is also like showing a really, really shitty pacing. This is terrible pacing. We're getting so much emotional whiplash. From this is not how you pace yourself. Like, you want us to feel happy because of Weasel. It's okay. Like, it's more like jangling of keys. So, like, if the people who don't care about the Doctor's story, here's some tits and ass. Here's Weasel. And it's just like, the Doctor's story is the most compelling. And if you cut all of this other bullshit out and you just sat with the Doctor.
Yeah. Well, and that's that was the same complaint we had about the last episode where they were doing the fight scenes, right? And they kept jumping back and forth between the Flag Frankenstein and then the Frankenstein Flag and Clayface fight, plus what was going on back in that little country, and you were doing it so damn fast you couldn't tell what the hell was going on in both stories. It was like you needed to give us 3 or 4 minutes in one story before you jump back over to the other one, where we were getting a minute and a half cutscenes just jumping back and forth between 2 different stories. And it was so bad with that. It was so bad with that.
So now we're getting 4 stories. Now we're getting Weasel, we're getting the bride at the whorehouse, and we're getting I just keep wanting to call him Dr. Synthris. Like,
but we're getting Phosphorus's backstory now.
We're getting Phosphorus right now, and his backstory, and only those 2 things. It's more easier to go back and forth with, but the emotional tones in this thing are fucked. You have no emotional tones. You don't like. This is why people don't like new TV shows, new storytelling, because they're not allowing their audience to fucking breathe.
Yeah. That's the problem with it. It's too much crammed way too tightly into this episode. It just does not work. It doesn't work.
Any like fucking intelligence, he wouldn't be working for people overseas. He'd be working for the pharmaceutical companies that make boatloads, makes billions, trillions over cancer research.
Well, and they kind of established that when he was talking to his wife, is that he couldn't get anybody to fund his research. And that was the problem. So, because that has happened. Some people think you're too fucking crazy, and there's no way you could possibly be right, no matter how good your research data is and shit like that. I mean, look at Tesla.
It's not even like a Tesla thing. It's like it's a money thing. There is a lot of money in R&D. There's also a lot of money in taking care of the symptoms, but not curing the problem.
Yep. That's always the old story. There's a lot more money in keeping sick people alive than there is curing sick people. So, yeah. I'm waiting to hear why Falcon's pissing on Blight right now. That's what we're waiting for right here. So hold on, Yeah, I got you.
So this actually could have been a really fun scene for the bride, but they had to go over and have Fish Girl like, get away from her, you bitch. It could have just been the Fish Girl recognizing how fragile she is in her suit and everything. She wants to help, but she can't, and she really, really can't. And the madam, like, if they made the madam unfucking caring, this would actually make it even more better for the bride, because have the one who could stop it not do anything, and the one who wants to stop it being unable to because she's a non-combative.
Yeah.
And then you have the bride show up. She takes off her jacket. She kicks the door open. It's like, you like a little rough play, eh? And then you could actually have you could have a whole kind of like fun twist on dominatrix.
Yeah, that would have been kind of funny. That would have been funny too.
That would have been funny. But no, they fucked it up again.
Yeah. It's definitely. I think it would probably have been a better way. There's definitely a different way to go. Evidently it's playtime right now. Yep, exactly.
Because her outfit looks dominatrixy, especially after she takes her jacket off. So
yeah, with the bride. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's true. That could have been fun. That could have been true. Yeah, Sunker's version is. Yeah, absolutely. Of course. Leave it to the fanfic girl. Of course. What are you talking about?
Okay. Him going over, like, we had those two scenes, which were better scenes, but still, it's not matching. Like, they should have just said, "Oh, I look like I'm smiling, but I'm not. I'm not smiling at all." And then you hit this scene.
Yeah, putting the stuff with Weasel in the middle of it was kind of stupid. Yeah.
And the bride, like, it doesn't work. Like, you want to tell a story, tell a good story. It's like you're doing an opera, and then you break into like banjo music. It's not working. Stop it.
Yeah, there you go. Spins in chair like Razor Fist. Yeah, like and we're about to hear it from the reporter exactly what happened, but I get it.
It is bad, and this is why he is a bad guy. That's why he's on the Suicide Squad. Everyone on the Suicide Squad
Creature
is
Commandos.
A bad guy. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
But so it does make sense. He was just so fucking broken mentally with everything that yes, it does make sense that no, I'm doing this to you now.
Yeah. Yep. It's fucking dark, but like you said, he's the villain. He's a villain. He's not a nice guy. He's got a code. There's certain things he won't do, but he's not a good guy.
He doesn't even have that code yet.
No, that's true. Not at this point. Yeah, not at this point. No, this point is he's still straight insane, straight out of the machine, straight out of fucking watching it, literally having his fucking own hands forced into his fucking wife and child's blood. Like, yeah, no. Nope. There's an argument for temporary insanity here, even within the legal system.
Well, and meta-human system.
Yeah, the meta-human system. Yeah. There it is.
That Batman looks... it might be the art style and what they're trying to do. He's looking a bit thick.
So, just from this silhouette, because the silhouette was something that they went back a lot, back and forth. Because I think this is all we get. I could be wrong, but I think this could be all we get. the thing about it is they went back and forth a lot on what they were going to do for this silhouette. You know what I mean?
It's
So,
Batman.
I mean, that is kind of a weird angle to begin with, but he does look kind of like the broad-shouldered. It kind of reminds me of the Batman from what was like the little the post-Dark Knight when he was the old man Batman, where he looked like a linebacker kind of gone to pot. It kind of looks like that a little bit. And we do know that this is supposed to be an older Batman, right? He's already supposed to have a son.
He has the Damian.
Yeah, he has Damian. And so at least that's the rumor. We don't know.
And he doesn't even have time to set up the other Robins. No, we're jumping straight to Damian.
Well, it's probably because Nightwing's already going to probably be out there somewhere, because they're supposed to be doing something with Nightwing and Nightwing and one of the other Nightwing and Red Hood.
It is that's actually the joke I was going to make. It's like maybe they'll give Red Hood an actual satisfying origin.
No, I think they're doing Nightwing and Red Hood, I think is what they're going to do. And because there's a really cool like little animation studio that's going to be doing it, that have done some incredible work over the last few years. So we'll see how it goes. But no, there was a lot of decisions on going back and forth on how this silhouette was going to look. So that this was something that they definitely struggled with a lot. So how far it's actually going to trench it. He's not what?
Felt like there's a little bit of like I would compare Batman to like a Sean Connery bodybuilder in terms of muscle mass. So, but if you look up Sean Connery when he was a bodybuilder, it's just like there's a thickness there, but a sense of mobility as well. Like of all the Batman and all the Batman family, he is absolutely the one who has the most muscle mass. Then that makes sense because he is the patriarch of the Batman family.
He's always the biggest with the broadest shoulders and everything else. It's like even when you see Grayson take on the role of Batman. Yeah, you still see, like, you can tell, like, it's like even when they try to draw it to where nobody notices, it's like it's like something in those artists' mind go, we're gonna make him just a little bit. It's gonna be really hard to notice. But all you fans have been watching, you're gonna notice there's something off about this Batman, and whether it's intentional or not, there's always something off about that Batman whenever it's not Bruce. But I mean, of course, the bad guys don't know. They're getting their asses kicked. They ain't got time to pay attention to the fact that the shoulders aren't quite as broad as normal, or they're getting punched in the. Wait a minute, right? The last thought that goes through your face is Batman's fist is coming towards your nose. Is those shoulders don't look quite as broad as what they did the last time he kicked my ass? I don't think they're thinking that. But yeah, no, he is not the dollar store Batman. That's disrespectful. He is not at all. He's just like
it might be the art style because you have Grandpa Flag,
right?
He has kind of a similar thing, so it might be that they're trying to portray a certain body type.
Yeah, for some of the guys and stuff. Yeah,
for certain guys, so they kind of emphasize this with Rick Flag. So because they're of similar build, they gave him a similar build as to Rick Flag, but I don't agree with it because it doesn't work for Batman, even though they are of similar build. If anything, just go over and make the cape bigger. Yeah. So you don't have this conversation. We can just enjoy Batman.
And one of the nice parts about this too is like, and it took me taking my glasses off to look and see the actual kind of dimensions of Batman. I did like this. I liked the silhouette initially because I like that cape. I always love it when they put those blue undertones in the cape. Yes. One of my first Batman figurines was the one with like the blue cape and the gray suit. You know what I mean? It was one of the first ones I got as a kid. And so I like that initially. I like the silhouette. It's just, I agree with you. I think the body is a little off. And it could just be the angle that he's standing at. It could just because this was just the one thing that they did, and when we see it later, it could be, much more tuned in, I guess, you know what I mean, versus what we're getting right here. But either way, it's got the right feel. It's got the right aesthetic of Batman being out there behind the windows, the flashing lightning behind it, like everything you expect to see from a Batman scene where he's up in the shadows. Oh no, Sunker froze on me. Did Sunker freeze on me or did I freeze? Oh no, that's a great picture for Sunker to have frozen on though. Hold on. Oh nope, it was Sunker. Damn, hold on. Yep, it was either. Oh, we lost her. Damn it. Sunker's down. Sunker's. Dude, we had such a good fucking picture to grab of that, too. Damn. She'll be back. She'll be back. Yep. Witches is down. Witches is down. Witches is down. Ric Flair in the 80s versus Ric Flair today, Chimbone. That's horrible. Timestamp that. Somebody clip that. Clip that. She's frozen, and yes, it's one hell of a pic. Screenshotted. Yes, that's my boys. I love you in the chat. Too much creature caca. Yeah, there you go, Sadix. I'll make use of this later. I bet you will, Kyo Saber. Holy shit. Damn. Yeah, I was trying to get that full screen. It doesn't work quite as well as it does on StreamYards when you try to pull that up. I was trying to get a full screen for that one. Oh, it is great. But we should be broadcasting in 1080p, and I actually am recording on the background, and I've definitely got a 1080p cut in the back. So yeah, holy cow. She's back. She's back. She's got to turn her camera on. Everything glitched on her. Oh, that is funny. She's back, though. You just can't see her yet. Oh, Sunker, turn your microphone on. What happened? Oh, that could have not have been a better Frozen moment. I mean, she literally looked like she was a little bird trying to get some food from her mama. Like, and she should be able to hear me in the back, too. That would be the best part. Oh, this is glorious. God bless the internet and the glitches, man. The glitches keep this so much more entertaining. That's right. The camera always knows. That's right, Kyo Saber. The camera always knows. Oh, there she is. I can't hear you. There she goes.
Hold on. I got a very funny picture of you in a weird pause.
Oh, you've got one? Oh, wait till you see what Kyo Saber screenshotted and everything else. You literally look like a baby bird trying to get food from their mother. Like I'm not even going to recreate it because we are currently full screen and them fuckers will nab a picture of me doing that shit. But yeah, you straight up look like a fucking, yeah. Oh yeah, but except it's full front, it's right from the front and it's everything all up there.
Oh no.
No, you're not. Don't be sorry. It's the best. The glitches on the internet. This is what the internet's great for the glitches we get. Never make the internet perfect because it will not be as entertaining if all of this shit goes flawlessly. We always need glitches. We always need problems.
Well, look at your Discord because yours actually looks like something that would be on a comic book.
Oh, that's fucking great. Did you send it to me in a message or on the actual? Okay, yeah. That's what I'm looking at. I'm trying to get the other picture to go away. Hold on. Damn it, I just gotta put Discord back up. Stop being retarded, Discord.
Looking at the blue boobies. A very fine bird.
Oh, that's fucking great. It's
a perfect pair. I was just like, this is an amazing pause. I gotta go over and screenshot it real quick before I go back to my fucking internet.
Dude, that was fucking great. That was fucking great. Oh, hell yeah. All right.
Damn it, Coyote.
That was fucking great. Yeah, it was a nice shot. That's right. That's right, Sadix. All right, you talk to him for a second. I gotta go grab another beer real quick before we finish this episode off.
Put it on.
Oh, I'll put Batman. Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, have at it. There you go.
Alrighty. So what I do very much like and what the artists actually remembered. It's very old style. You can see this with the curtains off in the bottom right. It's a very, very old style. That's kind of how it was in Gotham. I also love the Art Deco of the windows. That's perfect for how everything they did of Gotham is fucking beautiful. When they're doing a little bit too much of their own thing, it looks a little bit gay. But the Art Deco stuff, I love this so much. You might have seen me when we were pausing. I was moving like this back and forth. My screen monitor is actually a little bit up. So if I tilt it a certain way, I can just see lines. Just the lines of everything. So if I tilt this way, I'm not actually seeing the colors anymore. I'm just seeing reflection and shadow. So I'm basically seeing black and white. And it doesn't look good. It looks like a giant fuck-off square. And you have two tiny legs. So... Again, but
that's why you shouldn't look at it at that angle.
Well, I was just moving observing the color and just seeing the lines of it. But again, this could just be the art style and actually indicative of how Batman is. Because again, when I use Rick Flag is a bulky boy, so they might be saying that Batman is the same bulk, even though this does not look good for Batman. Love the art deco though.
That's true. That's true. So yeah, let's go watch this one more time again, and then we'll carry on because that's Either way, it's a good for guys that are not Bruce Timm and the guy that's actually responsible for Batman, which I got to pull up my animated series thing. Anyway, the two guys that worked well balancing each other out for Batman animated series, these guys are obviously not, but they are trying. They are trying.
They are. You can see it through the styling, and actually, this is actually a conflict because Gotham is so actually overpowering and so much more interesting. It feels weird when they put in the Creature Commando art stylings within it. So just the whole thing with Batman and how that is. It's very. This whole thing is very interesting. They could have cut the dance scene a little bit shorter.
Yeah, a little shorter. That was a little too long. Yeah.
Fine tune. It did get hit edges of generic because we've all seen this. We've seen this montage before.
Yeah. Yeah.
You need that as an emoji? Okay, you want that as an emoji? Guys, go over, cough up your money.
Hell yeah, there you go. Oh, Giggity, she said cough it up. We need memberships we need gifted subs in the chat. We have a clip to play.
Motherfuckers, or that's not going to be an emoji. It's going to go into my own spank bank and delete it off of his stuff.
Lightning strikes. Go ahead.
Oh my god! It would have made more sense if his wife wasn't like Middle Eastern or something like that. She looked Middle Eastern as fuck.
Yeah, I think she was supposed to be like a Western, like kind of Soviet bloc kind of thing. But even if she was Middle Eastern, like the whole argument was it was totalitarian. Oh yeah, I guess she probably was Middle Eastern because he was talking about not wanting to give nuclear secrets over to like totalitarian regimes, and it was really funny. It almost seemed like, to me personally, it seemed like they were taking a dig at Iran. That like
we need it for our nuclear.
Yeah, for energy. We need it for energy. Yeah, for nuclear energy.
That's all. Want to go over and check out our facilities? No.
Yeah. But like it literally felt like Falcone was working. Yeah, like it literally felt like Falcone was working with the Iranians, and this guy's like wife came from the Middle East, and he's like, I don't want to give nuclear secrets to the fucking Iranians. Is what it sounded like to me.
Very bad idea.
Yeah, and he's like, my wife dealt with all of that, so yeah, no, I get that.
The one thing I was saying is like it would have been better for the song choice because it's primarily him. This montage, it's not him. It's not like a group montage where it actually would make sense where you have the same soundtrack for everyone going. It's his montage, so it would have actually made more sense for her not to be Middle Eastern, but for something like Euro.
I thought the sound choice for this particular montage, plus with I like this song, but the problem is it's kind of like the whole theme song for the show, and you're doing like the way he did like the pimp hat and everything else. I don't know, it felt a little off there. But yeah, like I think you should and once again, this shows you just how little amount of time they had to produce this and put this together, because you could have found another song for this scene instead of just reusing the same old stuff.
Or just, don't make it Middle Eastern and just make it a Bolshevik-esque country, thus going for tying his own involvement into the country he's going to help fuck over. This is also another thing, because they were so focused on the fuck plot, we don't actually know too much about this princess and what she would do as a ruler. You could have actually shown that she was fairly progressive in everything.
Hurry up.
You're not muted! And by
good night, I love you.
By progressive, I don't mean like the bastardization of progressive, but a thing that's moving, a progressive in like Catherine the Great, where she moved her
close that door, Judith.
Sort of a thing. I'm sorry, I'm talking too much.
No, you're fine. You're fine. No, you're fine. You're making good points. You're good.
But we don't actually know what she would be like, so we don't actually know her character other than she liked to fuck the American boys. And she liked the American. So
yeah.
It's if they're going to try to go over and make it seem like I want to fight against America, they there's better ways to kind of ease into that because you don't have the strong feeling that is the original Rick Flag from the Suicide Squad, this sequel reboot thing, where they did a sequel reboot and it made absolute sense with the actor. He was able to portray like this is wrong, and then Patriot was just like, no, this is absolutely right. Protect America.
Yep, absolutely. There you go.
You put it in the hands of Frankenstein when you obviously don't want your crew to do that because no one likes Frankenstein. Because
it's because Flag had nobody else. Frankenstein was the only one that believed him,
I'm not even taking into the account of actual like what they already set up. I'm actually looking at it from like a plot thing. It's just like, okay, you took out Flag and you replaced him with Frankenstein.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying I agree. I get what you're saying. You don't agree with the decision necessarily, but it's like it's been explained, and it's just like it's one of them situations where it's like I guess it adds extra drama to the situation to have the main guy that's supposed to be the hero and kind of like the solid head on the entire crew be taken out at the last minute. It'll be curious to see what their payoff for that is with him being in the hospital because I saw some theories floating around on Twitter and stuff like that is like, how are you going to get Flag out of essentially a coma right now? And it'd be kind of funny with Batman showing up if that was the case. But one of the right
stabs him with a needle.
Yeah, or like a Lazarus, or like a Lazarus pit or some shit like that. Like, oh, that'd be a horrible idea.
Pit. It's probably going to be it's either like bullshit magic or bullshit science that is going to be like, we have to go over and get you started up, but this will have consequences of which we're not going to elaborate on because we have to keep the episode going.
Right. Well, there's only one left. This is it. There's only one more. So we got to figure out how they're going to wrap it up in 20 and essentially 30 minutes or less. Because guess what? We're not going to get 15% off if they don't pull it off in 30 minutes or less. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way with television shows. But I mean, overall, it was okay. I can see why people said they liked this episode better than the other one. It's just like a part of it probably has to do with the fact that we're constantly pausing it and critiquing things too. That probably doesn't help the pacing of the show that when we do that. But
it's already fucked.
Yeah, I know. The pacing's already fucked anyway.
Like the pacing's fucked.
But it's one of those things like I can definitely see, and you know what? A little bit of it's probably the nostalgia thing, just finally getting to see Batman show up. The stuff with Phosphorus was good. I liked that. Like I said, the dancing montage went on a little too long, for sure. Yeah, and I was thinking about that. I was like, right before, it was like 5 to 10 seconds before they cut it off. I was like, okay, this is about done. We need to wrap this up. And then, okay, they wrapped it up. So fortunately enough, I didn't have to think that more than once, fortunately enough. But yeah, the stuff with Weasel was really cute. It's the same problem with this episode that we've seen with the rest of them. And this has nothing necessarily to do with the writing. This has to do with the editing and the way they were doing it. Those few blurbs we got in Gotham where they stuck in Gotham for a while were good. But the problem is as soon as you return essentially to the rest of the Creature Commandos universe, right? As soon as we get out of Blight's backstory, Phosphorus's backstory, then it gets right back into the same back and forth nonsense garbage where we're flipping between the whorehouse, we're flipping between Weasel, we're flipping between Frankenstein, and it's just like doom, doom, doom. It's like you could have done 5 minutes on Frankenstein, got all of his shit done, 5 minutes on the whorehouse, got all that shit done, 5 minutes on fucking Amanda Waller and Rick Flag having their fucking cuddly bonding moment while he's unconscious so he doesn't actually know she's saying any of the shit.
That should have happened in the middle. That should have 1,000%.
Right. I'm not talking about placement. I'm just saying how you would have grouped those stories together. Not necessarily in what order you would have put them in. Because Phosphorus should have been, if anything, Phosphorus would have been like the tail end of the story. And then you have Phosphorus and the bride, and because this is supposed to be Phosphorus's episode, essentially.
It is.
Right. So that's what you would want. You'd want that last clip there at the end, and then have them all walk up on the mountain. And I don't have a problem with them walking up on the mountain. Everybody's like, well, that's convenient. Well, it's not a super large country, and everybody's heading for the giant castle on the mountain that you can see from pretty much anywhere in the city. Yeah, so like that's
popped out, then run back at the center.
Right. So it's like they are all heading for the same place. So that's not that far off, at least as far as I'm concerned. And it works well. I think that montage goes on for a little bit too long as well. Like it was one of those situations where, all right, you need to do something else with this scene. And then they flipped it. I'm like, okay. But I should have never even had that thought come in my head. Your pacing should have been better to where that thought never even came in my head. You know what I mean? And that's one of the things about it. But other than that, I mean, like it's the same issues that have plagued this entire series. I think the story was better in this one. I think the character development with Phosphorus was better in this one. Getting to see Batman, getting to see Gotham, getting to see Rupert Thorne, actually getting to live in a world, getting to see a DC universe where Rupert Thorne gets his comeuppance. Unfortunately, his family got it at the same time, but that's because Phosphorus is fucking psycho. And but other than, I mean, like, I can see why people like this one episode a lot more than the other ones, because there's a lot of good elements. This episode just suffers from the same plague that the rest of the season suffers from: bad pacing, poor editing, all of that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
I agree with a lot. It's just this who directed. James Gunn directed this, correct?
No. James Gunn only wrote this. He was too busy doing other things to actually write it. No.
So whoever decided to direct this and give direction to the art team and do all of that stuff, he messed up because there are ways you actually could have succinct all three of these stories, even though it feels very rough, because you have to spend so much time. You have to spend so much time with the bride and Weasel and all that stuff. Like with storytelling, when it's done well, you don't have me telling you to stop, so I can talk about it. If it's done well and it's done coherently, I'm just enjoying the ride.
Which we've done several times with Doctor Who episodes.
Yeah, because there were times like, and again, actually, with the start of this episode, we didn't talk for like 30 seconds because it was just like, oh shit, it's Gotham. Oh shit, what's going on? Oh shit, shit. And we were just enjoying the story. I think it was a whole minute where we didn't talk. But how stories are supposed to work, it's ebbs and waves and a build-up. How this was chopped up was very badly done. You could have absolutely chopped this up better to where Weasel, you can make him the most instinctual character, I guess.
Right.
You could say. So him in his bad situation, he makes his situation better via playing with the wolves. The bride, in her situation with the fish lady, with prompting from fish lady, because I'm keeping my own headcanon that she went over and stepped in. They make their situation, their bad situation.
Well, Fish Lady was the first one to cut that motherfucker.
I know, but
she smashed that bottle over the back of his head. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Anyway, go ahead.
Well
Sorry.
Done because like I like my headcanon better, where she's like, please make him stop.
Yeah, I get you. I get you.
Fine. Because that's actually would have absolutely been better. So it's people taking shitty situations and making it better. Weasel does this, the bride does this, and you see this as Phosphorus as well, where you see him go from like the most happiest of circumstances to the worst of circumstances where he doesn't care anymore, to I think probably prison was the best thing for him because he had to stop and think about everything. And
you mean
that's yeah.
The guy that's radiating nuclear energy, you had to get him to cool his heels, and all of a sudden he's working out a little bit better.
A little bit, he had to chill out a bit.
Yep.
But him like, but no, that makes absolute sense. There, you can see with after him getting caught by Batman, and then when you're put in your four-wall cell, your four-wall room with not much else to do, you actually stop and you think and you start decompressing a little bit. And some people go fucking nuts and are. I'm not going into the prison system and all that stuff.
Right. That's a whole tangent for another whole time. Yep.
But you can tell for his character and how it's treated that there was an in-between time where he was mad with power, mad with I don't give a fuck, to this character that's a little bit more introspective, and he did not get that from this team. But he more likely got it from his term of imprisonment.
Yep. Yep. And sometimes it helps. Sometimes it helps to have a hot head cool his heels for a little while.
It straightened out Gary a little bit.
Right? Yeah, got Gary to pull his head out of his ass, so that's for sure. So yeah, it does work. It does work in a lot of cases. So yeah.
Truly repentant. But
yeah, it's always you can't fix
Yeah, you can't fix that which does not feel like being fixed. But there are ways you could have cut this up better. This is kind of the bestest episode because I do like a lot. It's kind of like I got some really good elements, but it's saddled down with a whole bunch of crap elements, and they're not cohesive at all. There's no full theme to things. Like if you watch Babylon 5, Star Trek, Star Wars, any of those, there's usually a theme. Even when you go into Star Wars episodic stuff, which there are there's a theme. There's no theme to this except in the loosest amount of terms, and it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
But I do like the artistry when they go into Gotham. Yes, there is smog, and that I love that. I love that everything is highly imperfect. I love that it all feels very unfair, and I do love that it shows little brief glimpses of there is little bits of light, and that's why Bruce Wayne fights.
No, you're absolutely right. And so it's one of the things that there's like I said, it's like I said, it suffers from the same problems as the rest of these episodes do. Yeah. You know, it really is. And that's the other thing. And that's the worst part is it's like there's a lot of good parts of this that if I think done by the right group of people and given maybe a little bit more time, you know what I mean? I think this could have been really something special. But it does. It just, like I've said from the beginning, it feels like this was written and done in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And that sucks. Because this is not going to be the majority. This is not going to be the majority of people's first impression of the DCU. Okay, most normies don't have Warner Brothers. If they do have Warner Brothers or HBO Max, it's for something else. It's not going to be necessarily for this. This is for the DC fanboys. This is for those of us that are really into this stuff. And this is the hardcore nerds' first introduction to this. Not a great start, but it's not a great start because I don't like your universe. It's not because I don't like your characters. It's because your pacing and your editing and some of your dialogue is really retarded. Okay, I don't like some of your characters. I don't like Frank and Sim.
Frank and James.
Frank and James. Frank and James is not good. For the most part, the rest of the characters I find pretty enjoyable. I can't stand Frank and Simp, man. I can't. It's just there's a lot of great characters. There's a lot of great elements here. It's just the way it was put together is not good. Is just not good. So yeah.
Absolutely agree. Again, because you like I actually like. This is the most I've ever liked of the Bride because she was just being straight up heroic. She was being a hero. A hero. No.
A hero.
Hero. She was absolutely being a hero, going over and saving the girl and making sure everything was okay at the cost of her own security.
That's true. She did.